What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2019 Porsche Boxter S. Huge thank you to Hendrick Porsche for providing this car for today's video. I have the link to their website down in the description below. Definitely check them out. They have a huge selection of all the brand new Porsches. Definitely check them out. And I'll also have their Instagram link below. And the model that we're looking at today is the 718S model. It's finished off in Carrera White Metallic and has an MSRP of $91,600. This features a 2.5-liter mid-mounted Boxer 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It cranks out 350 horsepower and 309 pound-feet of torque. While the engine is mounted right in the middle of the vehicle behind the seats and in front of the rear trunk storage space, we do have access for oil as well as your coolant. This vehicle is rear-wheel drive and is equipped with the 7-speed Pdk transmission, and with a curb weight just over 3,000 pounds, you can expect to get 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, with a top speed of 177 miles an hour. If you do opt for the Sport Chrono package, 0 to 60 comes down to 4 seconds flat. And running on a 16.9 gallon fuel tank, you can expect to get 21 miles per gallon in the city and 28 on the highway. This has an overall length of 172.4 inches with a wheelbase of 97.4. We get a width of 70.9 inches with the mirrors folded in, and then an overall height of 51 inches. This has ventilated and drilled rotors in all 4 corners. Front rotors measure 330 millimeters, while the rear measures in at 299 millimeters with a 4-piston caliper. Up front, this features bi-xenon headlights with Porsche dynamic light system. We also have 4 parking sensors. We have a large opening on each side of the bumper to provide maximum cooling for the radiators. LED turn signals are featured within the bumper as well. Super clean look for the front end, very traditional for what a Porsche should look like. The front boot lid is actually mounted lower than the front arches. You can see how where the headlights are, it's a clean line all the way up to the fenders for the front end. That leads us to the side profile of the car, very traditional and proportional look for a Boxster. We have the two-tone 20-inch Carrera Sport wheels that have a great look contrasting to the white vehicle. Extremely clean lines run along the side profile of the car, and we get openings to allow cooling to the intercoolers for the engine. Just like within the front, the rear fenders have a nice arch to them, giving it a cool looking bulge design. You can see how it's a little bit taller and a little bit wider than the center section of the car, helping give this car a wide appearance. We get to the rear end with LED taillights with a 3-dimensional look. We have a Porsche emblem beneath the active spoiler, and then in black we have 718 Boxter S. This has the standard backup camera as well as 4 more parking sensors, a matte black lower diffuser with center mounted exhaust tips. And then coming up to the top, the rear Decklid has a similar look to the front end. We get the 3rd brake light in it, some clean lines running in it, and then we can see the convertible top folded. So there's a good look at the exterior of the Porsche Boxter S along with some of the specifications. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the interior. With the convertible top, of course, we can get a good look at it by keeping the vehicle locked with the Porsche key. All I have to do is go up to it and grab the door handle, and then it automatically opens. So we can take a look at the black leather interior, a ton of silver accents to it, the Pdk transmission with the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. Along the door panel, we have some black leather along the armrest with some more stitching on it, same with your grab handle, and then some nice aluminum accents. We have all your window and mirror controls as well as the memory seat buttons, a nice aluminum grab handle to open up the door, some storage space down below the Bose audio speaker, and then this opens up to reveal more storage space. Then making our way inside, you can see the black leather interior. We got Boxter S written out on the door sill in a nice aluminum piece. More aluminum buttons are below the seat for all your power controls. Pressing the front one will actually extend the leg rest, which is a great touch. Nice bolstering in it, perforated leather within the centers, and then solid leather on the sides. Great looking seats overall, super comfortable to be in. Really nice choice of materials. Then making our way inside, we have a black leather steering wheel with more black stitching. Get a good look at the aluminum accents on it. We have the aluminum paddle shifters, which have a great feel to it, extremely solid to feel. And then your sport mode controller, which is the dial over here. Keeping the key in my pocket, the ignition is on the left side. With my foot on the brake, we can start it up. On the left side of the steering wheel, we can control the audio volume by just rotating this dial forward and back. And then over on the right side, this roller will actually control the right screen within the gauge cluster. On the left side of the steering wheel, we can control the volume by just rotating this dial forward and back. And then over on the right side, we have some Bluetooth controls as well as a back button. And then this one will actually roll for the screen on the right. We have a boost gauge, some temperatures, and some pressures. And then just rotating this dial forward and back like that. If we go to the next menu, we have a G-force meter, a lap timer, and then we have your TPMS. You can also look at the trip distance and fuel consumption. Continue scrolling, we have your audio, and then back to the main screen. We have a center mounted tach with your gear pattern as well as your speedometer. We have an analog speedometer over on the left side as well as the odometer. We have your headlight controller as well as the ignition switch, and then some nice black leather along the dash with some more stitching and some air vents. We get an analog clock in the center, giving it a really clean appearance. Then coming down low, we have the touchscreen system. You can go into it with your tuning for the different radio stations. Hitting the home button, we can go back to the main menu. You can take a look at the car and all of its settings, the temperatures, everything that's going on outside, more trip odometer. Hitting the home button again, we can go back to the main screen and adjust the media, the phone, the sound. And then if we take the vehicle and put it into reverse, the backup camera will pop up. We have guidelines on it as well as a screen for your parking sensors. And when I turn the steering wheel left, it'll actually move the vehicle picture just to keep it out of the way of the guidelines, which is a really cool touch. And then putting the car back into park, you just push this lever up to activate the actual gear shifter. We have more of those manual buttons down below. A lot of the climate control is right here. We have heated and ventilated seats, the recirc buttons, the temperature, changing the fan speed is in the center, as well as all your zones are located right here. To take a look at the Pdk Shifter, we have the shift pattern over on the right side. We're in park. We just go down to reverse, neutral, and drive. Then we can bump it over into manual mode. We can use this to shift up and down, or of course hitting the paddle shifters, and then back into park. Below that we have your hazard as well as a lock button, the power controls for your convertible top, traction control, the spoiler can go up and down by pressing the button, we have your active exhaust system, and then the engine start stop features. And then using these buttons, if we just pull the buttons up, the convertible top will operate. Only takes a few seconds to open and close, which is a great feature. And then on the lower right section of the steering wheel, we can control the different sport modes. We can just rotate this dial either left or right. You can hear a really nice change in the exhaust when I go into sport mode. So we have a sport, sport plus, an individual mode, which you can configure everything, and then the normal mode. Sport mode definitely has a nice sound to it. And then back into normal mode. And then a very cool feature, if you actually press the center button right here, you'll see the sport response goes up with a timer. That's kind of like the push to pass in the Formula 1 cars. It'll keep the turbo spooled and make sure this car is ready to pass any car. And then below those controls, we can just press this to open up for a little bit of storage as well as a cigarette lighter. And then there's a button on the right side of the center console. We can open this up. There's a good amount of storage space as well as a USB outlet. And then closing it back, we have more black leather with the black stitching. Over on the right side, we have your standard glove box, which is pretty typical size like your normal vehicle. We have a few things in there right now. It can definitely fit some phones and wallets and other items. We have a USB port. And then closing that up, we'll go on to the cup holders. Just pressing it in the center, this opens up. We can press each side. The cup holders automatically fold out. They even do extend for larger drinks, which is really cool. And then this bottom piece, you can see how it folds. And then you can even close this back up to make it all integrated looking. So right now it looks like they are built in and should be there. And then you just open this back up one at a time, just close them and put them back to where they go. And then you can close it up and hide them. So now we can get a good look at the interior. The black leather looks really nice everywhere. These silver accents are a great touch. Behind the seats, you do get a little bit of storage space and a speaker, and then the windscreen up top with your roll bar. And then to take a look at both the front and rear trunk spaces, there is a button on the door sill. You can just pull them each up to open them up. We also have the button on the key fob, but making our way to the rear end of the car, I do have the spoiler in the up position. Just gives it a very sporty look. But then grabbing the rear deck, you can open this up. We have a ton of space back here. We just have some floor mats in it right now. Can easily fit some luggage in here, some camera bags or anything you need. And then making our way to the front end of the vehicle. One thing great about this car, while it's a mid-engine, you have a trunk in the rear and in the front, which really makes this two-seater convertible super practical. The front storage is a lot larger, very deep. I can pretty much fit my entire arm in here. So you have a ton of space here. Then you also have access to your wiper fluid on the right side, and this panel will come off to get to a few more things. So now we'll take one more look at the interior from the passenger side, just opening up the door panel, get a really good look at the overall layout of the car. We'll go ahead and pull this lever up and get the seat out of the way. You can see what kind of storage space we have back here. It's not too much, there's no parcel shelf or anything like that, but you do have room for some smaller items. Then we can go ahead and put the seat back into place, get an overall good look at everything and how everything's laid out. So that is a good look at the 2019 Porsche Boxter S. Huge thank you once again to Hendrick Porsche for providing this car for today's video. I'll have all their information down in the description below. Definitely check them out. They have a massive selection of all the new Porsche vehicles. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, smash the subscribe button. See you guys next video.